Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I was thinking that I will be doing an update on some of the new foundations that recently launched. Well, actually not that recent, but these are the newest additions to my collection. And I did promise you guys that I will be giving you my thoughts on these foundations. That's what I'm going to be doing today. Anyway, before we start, I have to tell you that I am not wearing any of the foundations that I'm going to be talking about on my face today because 2 weeks ago I went to the beach and I did get a little bit tanner, so I cannot wear any of these foundations. They are a little bit too light for me, so that is why. So without further ado, let's get started. The first one that we're going to be talking about is from Anastasia, and this is the Luminous foundation, and I have this in the shade 160C. This foundation is actually my least favorite because it just doesn't work for me. I have tried to apply this so many different ways. I've used this with my fingertips and with my sponge, and it just wouldn't look flawless. I feel like it's really hard to blend out. If I use this with some primers, it can just look super cakey. For example, I've used this with the Milk Makeup Primer and it just wouldn't blend and it would ball up on my face and I would have to remove all of my makeup and reapply again. So for that reason, this one is not my favorite foundation. If you own this foundation and it works fine for you, please share your thoughts in the comments below because I would like to know what is the best method of application with this foundation. Because since it hasn't been working that great for me, I just haven't been reaching for this one at all, sadly. Yeah. So moving on to the next one is the Guerlain L'Essentiel foundation, and this I have it in the shade 01W, and I have to warn you that the W shades, they run really yellow. So if you are someone who has only a tiny hint of warmth in your skin or just a little bit yellow in your skin, you should probably get the neutral shades instead of the W or warm shades because they can be really yellow. Yeah, but it works fine for me. However, I am not in love with this foundation either, unfortunately, because I feel like it's more of like a skincare item rather than a foundation, because it doesn't really perfect my skin or not that long lasting either. So it is very sheer and it is probably good for every day. It's probably good for someone who likes maybe tinted moisturizers and don't need their foundations to stay all day. Yeah, so if you are one of those people, you can wear this. But for me, I just feel like it's not worth the price, and also I'm not in love with the scent. Yeah, it smells kind of powdery, but once it goes on your face, it kind of smells like an old lady perfume. So I am just not in love with the finish and the scent, so I do not think that this is worth picking up, in my opinion. The next foundation that I'm going to be sharing with you is the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Foundation. And the thing about this foundation is I don't find it to be hydrating. I think it's more of like a natural finish. It doesn't look dewy or luminous on my skin at all, and I don't find that it hydrates my skin like throughout the day. Since I don't have the original foundation, I cannot really compare this one to that, if this one is more hydrating or not. I would say this is like light to medium, but buildable if you want more coverage. However, it does tend to get a little bit cakey after maybe I would say around 8-hour mark. In my problem areas, like the area around my forehead, my nose, and around my mouth, these tend to get really dry throughout the day, and this foundation just tends to cling to those dry areas and it just looks a little bit cakey. So I am not in love with this foundation either, unfortunately. And the next one that I have to share with you is from Pat McGrath, and this is the Skin Fetish Sublime Foundation, and I have it in the shade Light 7. Now this foundation is also super pricey, but I do quite enjoy using this, even though it has quite a high alcohol content in it, but it doesn't really make my skin irritated or anything. So I would say that it works on my skin. It has really sheer coverage and it's quite runny. If you're someone who prefer like a fuller or like more of like a medium to full coverage, you would not like this foundation because it is pretty light. Yeah, even though you can build it up, but it's never going to be like full coverage, you know? Yeah, so it's probably better for like everyday, like a day-to-day foundation for when you're going out and just running errands. Yeah, you can wear this and it would look really natural on your skin. Yeah, this one doesn't look like makeup on your skin, by the way, so that's why I really enjoy using this. But if you ask me if it's worth the price or not, I would say definitely not, because you can surely find something that performs the same or even better at a lower price point. And now the next item is the only cushion foundation that I will be talking about in this video, and this is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Cushion, and this one I have in the shade 210 Birch. And this one is a light to medium coverage cushion, and it provides, I would say, natural finish. It's not too dewy and it's not matte either, and I would say it is quite long wearing. If you're not doing like a heavy or like vigorous activities, then I would say this one would last you probably the whole day. And I actually have worn this to the gym quite a few times, and I did quite like heavy workouts, and after, my skin still looked pretty good. I mean, like, it's not as perfected as when I first applied it, but still pretty good. Yeah, so I'm quite impressed with the performance, and it doesn't make me look cakey or heavy at all. Yeah, so overall I would say it's a really good cushion foundation. It's also great for on the go as well. That's actually how I like to use this. I always keep this in my purse, and whenever I need a touch up, I would just reach for this. And now moving on to the last item, which is also from Shiseido. This is the Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation, and you saw me using this in the full face of Shiseido makeup. I have to say that this has easily become my new holy grail foundation, guys. It's just so great. Like, it makes my skin look so perfect and flawless. I would say that this reminds me of the L'Oreal Fresh Wear, but more forgiving for dry skin, because sometimes when I wear the L'Oreal one, that one tends to cling to my dry patches. Yeah, on the days that my skin feels a little bit dry. Yeah, so that one does cling to my dry patches, even though I still really love that one. But I would say that this one is definitely better if you have dry skin, because it doesn't cling to any of my dry areas at all, and it's just so full coverage, and it looks so perfect without being cakey or looking heavy at all. I just am obsessed with this foundation. It is so good, and it stays looking fresh and perfect all day. I'm not exaggerating really, because I have worn this to the gym as well, and my skin looked flawless after the workout. So this is legit, guys. If you haven't tried this foundation, you do really need to try it. It is the next best thing, guys. It's so good. I just am in love with this foundation. So that is pretty much it for this video, guys. If you still have any questions about any of the products that I mentioned today, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below. I would be happy to answer them for you. And I guess that is it, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!